What are your thoughts on the convention so far?
The convention has been an emotional roller coaster. We've gone from the lowest of lows to the highest of highs. I know in the beginning of the convention there was a lot of kind of fearfulness and prayerfulness. We didn't know what was going to happen, and folks here were really concerned about what was going to happen in the Gulf states, what kind of damage we would see. I mean, you're talking about one of the kind of classic American cities in New Orleans, and we were, kind of hoping that then praying there would be no loss of, life or really harsh damage. But now it's excitement. It's a buzz. People are really excited to see Governor Palin tonight, and I think she's going to do a tremendous job.
Understandably, with Hurricane Gustav, John McCain wanted to be cautious due to Republicans having a bad rap because of George Bush's ill-timed response to Katrina, which entailed Kanye West's infamous quote, "George Bush hates black people." So when it comes to the stigma around Republicans versus all the hype around Barack Obama as the first African-American candidate for president, can the Republicans appeal to the African-American voting bloc? And will the party actually return to its roots and focus attention on minority issues instead of just key current interest groups like the religious right?
This is what we want the Republican Party to be and what we want the Republican Party to do. We want it to focus on young minorities, or at least to pay some attention. And that's what hiphoprepublican.com is trying to do. First, we want to serve as an area where young minority conservatives can come together. So if you're somebody who identifies as a Republican or as a conservative and you're a minority, it's tough to really put yourself out there as such, because you're risking being kind of kicked out of your own community, and people are going to question whether are you really black, you're a Republican. We want to be able to be a place where people can see other young blacks and young minority conservatives and Republicans and feel like I'm not alone and I can do this. I can say that this is how I really feel and these are my values. The Republican Party hasn't done much and really needs to do a lot more to, as you say, two things: focus on the inner city, focus on the policies that affect people in inner cities, whether it's affordable housing, whether it's quality education, whether it's good jobs. It's not like they're on conservative principles that we got conservative solutions to these issues. It's just that we don't talk about it.
Take minimum wage, for example. You and I probably agree in disapproving of how the Republicans frame that debate. Everyone was saying how increasing the minimum wage is critical for the inner city's economic progress, while Republicans could have just fired back, citing how increases to the minimum wage have historically hurt the inner city, and particularly African-American youth workers. Where are the Republicans fighting passionately for inner city needs like increasing the earned income tax credit or school choice? Do you think John McCain, unlike George Bush, will address these issues, as we've seen some positive action from McCain, like speaking at the NAACP?
I think John McCain is a step in the right direction. McCain has made it clear that he's a different type of Republican, that he's not going to toe the party line. He's shown time and time again over decades that he can be independent, that he's going to follow his conscience before he follows whatever the directives are from the top of the GOP. And I think that's necessary in a time and place when we need to have innovative approaches to urban problems in order to attract more young minorities into the party. It's crucial for our electoral success. It's crucial for the health of our cities. And like I said, and you mentioned, there are tremendous policies out there that could do great things for young urban, minorities and young urban families. Whether it's expanding their earned income tax credit and other tax credits, whether it's providing vouchers for school choice, whether it's supporting charter schools, any of these things could do wonders for the black community. But the Republican Party has given up on it.
I myself have always hoped that the first African-American president would be a Republican, to come from the party that liberated African Americans from slavery and were the first to have African Americans in elected office. Now, with Barack Obama possibly becoming the first African American president, what are your general thoughts of Obama? And I understand this is a very open question, so maybe specifically focus on his convention acceptance speech marking the anniversary of Dr. King's speech. And how do you feel about the state of America today, as many individuals cite the racism still in American society and say that America isn't ready for an African-American president?
Well, listen, here's the thing with Barack Obama. He is a wonderful individual. He's a tremendous role model. I know there are going to be a lot of young black people and a lot of young minorities who are going to look up to him. I myself look up to him and think he's done a wonderful thing in terms of all of his accomplishments, his life story. But when you look at the policies, I think that his policies wouldn't put us in the right place. It wouldn't do the right things to help our communities. And if you look at his speech, which was a phenomenal speech, it's really interesting because it's a conservative speech. He's talking about personal personal responsibility. He's talking about tax cuts. He's talking about education reform. And yet he's a Democrat. And here you have Democrats going wild over conservative ideas being espoused by Barack Obama. Now, he's never put any of that into action because he's one of the most liberal senators in the country. But, you know, now he's got to talk the talk.
Like with his 2004 convention keynote, where Obama said that just because an African-American student picks up a book doesn't mean he's white.
Yeah, no. And he's been able to attack these kinds of issues. He's spoken about them. The question is, will he do anything about them? And if you see, you know, if you look at his record on issues such as, you know, school vouchers or education reform, you see that he talks the talk, and he talks it wonderfully, but he doesn't always walk the walk. And I think that's the problem with him in terms of his candidacy for the presidency. But as an individual, he's a tremendous role model, and I think America it shows that America has progressed in a lot of ways that he's a candidate, and it is historically significant, and I'm excited about it. I just won't be voting for him.
Claudio, thank you so much for your time. I wish you the best.